A warm welcome to another episode of Service to Humanity, a program designed to bring you information and updates on activities of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development. My name is Habib Zoksok, your regular guide on the program. One scheme that has touched the lives of Nigerians is the Npower Scheme, a part of the National Social Investment Program. The Npower became a household name, especially after its expansion to include the training of manpower in the skills sector. In this episode of the program, therefore, we have a review of the Npower program of the federal government, coordinated by the Humanitarian Ministry through the National Social Investment Program. In the same vein, we shall bring you testimonies of some beneficiaries of the same Npower programs across the country. Details of these and more coming your way shortly in the course of the program. Please stay tuned.
I tell you, anytime we're not producing, the fish farmers suffer. The people we engage suffer. The people we feed, that we give our fish heads to, they feel it. I'll only beg the government to continue with this and make it run more.
We used to have children crying, parents will be chasing them to come to school, and they will be at the gate, they will be crying, they will hold on to the plate, they will not want to come into the gate.
When they are not giving the food, the attendance was very low.
Now the children are always fit and healthy because of the food they eat.
To make them attend class every day.
I eat rice, plates and carrots.
I want to use this opportunity to thank the federal government for the feeding program.
Glad to have you stay tuned. The program begins with the Management Diary, where we bring you news on recent happenings in the Humanitarian Ministry as well as from her agencies. This and more coming your way shortly. Don't go away.
Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, Disaster Management and Social Development, Dr. Nasser Sani Gwarzo, has appealed for cooperation with the UN Office for Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, UN OCHA, in order to combat flooding and the influx of refugees into the nation. The Permanent Secretary made the call during the meeting, which was attended by directors and staff of the ministry with UN OCHA Head of Office and his team in Abuja. On flooding, Gwarzo recalled how tough flooding was last year and expressed sadness to learn that floods this year will probably be on par with the flooding of last year. He stated that some of the relevant agencies are seeking ways the ministry and OCHA could collaborate to protect the nation. Gwarzo highlighted other humanitarian issues that OCHA can assist, such as the issue of refugee in Chad, Cameroon and Niger that are currently in Nigeria requiring help. The UN OCHA Head of Office, Tron Jensen, discussed the humanitarian situation in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa, where 8.3 million individuals have multiple needs for protection, shelter, healthcare, water and sanitation, and nutrition. He also discussed the organization's focus on food and agriculture production, providing cash and vouchers to stimulate micro markets and looking for leadership from the government. National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, one of the agencies under the purview of the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, has dismissed 5 of its personnel, including a deputy director for various offenses. This was made known by the agency's press officer, Vincent Adekoye, through a press statement. According to Adekoye, the offenses range from corruption, demanding and receiving bribes from suspects and relatives, leaking confidential information to suspects that endangered the lives of colleagues, violation of oath of secrecy, stealing and alteration of official records, and absence without official leave. He added that the offences are all contrary to provisions of the public service rules and the extant laws and regulations. Adekoye further revealed that 2 other officers were demoted by 2 ranks for soliciting a bribe from a suspect of human trafficking, while 1 officer was demoted by 1 rank for negligence of duty. Similarly, a federal high court in Sokoto has convicted a law enforcement officer and sentenced him to prison. He was convicted on a 2-count charge of trafficking contrary to Section 26, Subsection 2 of the Trafficking in Persons Prohibition Enforcement and Administration Act 2015 and was sentenced to 5 years on each count. This is NSIPs' 37th conviction and counting for the year 2023.
Welcome back. One tool the federal government has used in its fight against poverty and unemployment is the National Social Investment Program. The most popular of the clusters of the NSIP, the Npower, which is a youth employment initiative, has had its impact felt in almost every family in the country, thereby making it a household name. For 7 years, the Nigerian youth has had the opportunity to be empowered through the various training units under the Npower program. In our next segment, we shall look at the Npower program, its coverage, and impact on the lives of Nigerians. Keep watching.
For 7 years, Nigerian youth have had the opportunity to be empowered through the various training units under the Npower program. So far, the Npower program has trained youths in 4 batches, namely Batch A with 200,000 beneficiaries, Batch B with 300,000 beneficiaries, Batch C1 with 510,000 beneficiaries, and Batch C2 with 490,000 beneficiaries. This makes a total of 1.5 million youth that have benefited from the Npower program. There are various units of the Npower, which include N-Teach and N-Health for graduates only, which provides support for schools and hospitals across the country. The N-Skills, N-Build and N-Knowledge are components which provide training for both graduate and non-graduates on necessary skills for artisanship and to close the gap for manpower needed in the technical subsector. There is, of course, N-Creative, which trains young Nigerians on video editing, animation and script writing, as well as N-Agro and N-Tech for both graduates and non-graduates. National Team Lead of the Npower, Mr. Nsikak Okon, in an interview, disclosed that the Npower program has trained a minimum of 10,000 beneficiaries in each state of the Federation and the FCT.
If you get to Kano, there's a market in Kano State which the person was trained in carpentry. He has a very big workshop. He has employed over 10 other beneficiaries into that workshop. In Abuja here, FCT, there is a guy who graduated. He has never been in the educational line, but as I speak to you, he has his own private school. Because of the program, he was there in the batch A, so he learned the pedagogy of teaching, and then now felt he should have his own school. So he's running a private school. We have sent newsmen to go there and interview him. There is a guy in Ogun State. He's packaging crayfish from the savings he had from Npower, 30,000 naira. He was packaging, he was making savings and then packaged. He's exporting, as I speak, he's exporting crayfish to other African countries.
To monitor the program in order to ensure that it meets the sole purpose of its creation, some measures and collaborations have been put in place as checks and balances.
We have had robust collaboration with the states. There's what we call the state program managers, the focal persons in the different states, all the 36 and the FCT. We have all of that in their respective states. So they are our first point of call. They are out there in the field ensuring that the heads of the PPAs, places of primary assignments, that we have attached these volunteers to, give them first-hand report that these beneficiaries, they have absconded. Once there's a case of abscondment, the focal persons or the program managers would escalate to us. Immediately that has gotten to us, we place them on what we call payment hold. You will be hearing, I've not been paid, I've not been paid. It's not that you are not in the program, you are in the program. But we have placed you on a payment hold because of abscondment, indiscipline. So those are the excesses that we have checked using that method to ensure compliance.
Insikak Okon explains that someone who has been placed on payment hold has a window period of 45 days to submit a letter of validation signed by the head of his or her place of primary assignment and countersigned by the state focal person and submitted to the Humanitarian Ministry in order to correct anomaly. If that is not done, the person is totally removed from the program. The team leader mentions other collaborations with the ministry.
How do we ensure that people report to their different PPAs? We are not doing it alone. We involve the DSS. We have collaboration with ICPC as I speak. So, and we have collaboration with NGOs who give us first-hand information. NGOs can just walk into any PPA and then request for the attendance register. And then once we've gotten a credible source that this person has not been going to a place of primary assignment, we keep you on payment hold. After 45 days, we yank you out of the program. We've had cases of that.
For beneficiaries who get jobs in other places, they should voluntarily write to inform the Ministry of their employment and request to be taken off the program. The ministry, however, has machinery in place to check those who refuse to inform the ministry of their new employment.
But there's another check that we use the GIVMIS process. The GIVMIS will automatically ensure that you have benefited from government money, whether it's even 10 naira. Because it's a federal government, the only ones that could dodge from us are those that are working and getting paid from the state or local government. But we are still putting in another modality that will ensure that we check such so that the rate of truancy in the program will be reduced. We have challenges. This is one of those areas of challenges that we have in the program, but we are trying to outsmart them and then bring in innovations that would ensure that we checkmate those areas of excesses.
To ensure that beneficiaries of the program begin their journey of self-employment after the Npower program, the Humanitarian Ministry, in collaboration with the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, came up with the N-Exit program.
This was particularly for batches A and B when they left the program in June 2020. So in her wisdom, the Honorable Minister was looking for an exit strategy for them. So not only being trained in the program, they should be taught entrepreneurial capacity building. So there was a communication between the ministry and the Central Bank of Nigeria. Look, we have this manpower out there. How can we empower them? How can we exit them into useful ventures? So that's how we started the collaboration with the CBN. So on our part, we were to retrain them on entrepreneurial capacity building using what we call a GIVMIS process, which we have started with the first batch of about 75,600. We've trained 75,600 out of over 400,000 that were interested, that indicated interest for the loan and capacity building program.
While Nigerians have voiced concerns about the continuation of the Npower Scheme, the signing into law of the NSIP Agency Act gives hope for the institutionalization of a program which has greatly impacted on the life of young, aspiring Nigerians.
You're still watching Service to Humanity. Still on the Npower program, we shall take you to some states where our crew met with beneficiaries of the program to get first-hand testimonies on the impact of the Npower program and how it has changed their lives. Let's hear them.
So far, 1.5 million youth nationwide have benefited from the Npower program. A lot of them have come out to share their stories and testify on the impact of the program on their lives. Ekiti State has a number of Npower beneficiaries under the NTeach component. AM Wote Comprehensive School, Eyin Ekiti, is one of the schools where some of the beneficiaries were posted to. Osatuyi Ayodeji, Vice Principal, Academics of the school, speaks on the Npower program and the beneficiaries posted to the school.
I want to commend the effort of the federal government giving our youth this privilege to serve the nation and to be part of the system. Since the Npower that are in our schools, since they have come, they have really tried their best. They have been contributing to the progress and the development of academics as far as the school is concerned. So we really appreciate them.
The Vice Principal further commended the commitment of the Npower teachers in the school.
They used to be regular and punctual in the school, and they are doing their bits in the classroom to teach the school, the students normally. And under our supervision here, we are monitoring them and they are doing the needful. So we really appreciate them.
Oladapo Ayodeji, a graduate of French language from the University of Lomé, Togo, is a French teacher under the Npower program in AM Wote Comprehensive High School in Ekiti. He tells us how he got to know about the Npower program.
My brother told me that there's a program called Npower. Though I've been hearing about it like some years ago. So when he told me, he said I should apply online, which I did. Then I take some tests online too. Then fortunately they choose me and to be part of the program, which I do some screening at our local government. The physical verification went well also, and everything just went well. So that's why when I saw my PPA, I said Humanitarian Compulsory School, because I'm from this town, and this school was one of my alma mater. So and I was like, well, it is a task that I must do.
Ayodeji expresses appreciation for the program and states that it has not only helped him to take care of his family, but his students as well.
It's not even helping me alone, it's helping my students. They are here, they can witness to it. Most of them, when I came on board, my first salary I used to buy uniforms for them. I bought socks, I bought books for them. Sometimes I will be able to give them, what happened to you, haven't eat, I'll be able to give them money, go and eat. If I see their uniform maybe it's dirty, how much is uniform? Just 1,400. I'll be able to buy it, I'll give it to them. Even including sandal, including socks.
The NBuild category has quite a number of beneficiaries too, who have expressed appreciation for the skills they have acquired. Some of them spoke during their graduation after training at the Federation of Construction Industry FOCI Skills Academy, Katampe, Abuja.
All of us here, we came in by the Npower, by creating us an opportunity, because if you can see today, after a youth have been through in school, they don't have what to do at home. Most of them, because of that, they can commit themselves into drugs and what have you. But with the help of the federal government, by creating all this a great opportunity, and it enabled the youth by giving us work to do.
It's rare to see female plumbers these days, and it's something I have passion for. Like our slogan as plumbers says, water is life. When we say up water, up life. So I have that passion to reconstruct and redirect, redefine everything that has to do with plumbing in the building industry. coming to the Npower training without any prior skill or prior understanding about plumbing work, I can boldly say I can fix a toilet. Like in my hands here, if you see, this is a 4-inch elbow, and I can use it to fix a toilet, a WC toilet. And this is a 2 inches PVC pipe, a 2 inches elbow, and a floor waste. I can use it to fix my drainage and sort out some valuables in the house to avoid any damage or water attacks in the house.
There is a catering component under the N skills. Some beneficiaries at a center in Kaduna speak on the training acquired and their plans for the future.
Generally, she taught us a lot of snacks. She taught us food. And now I think we are in our baking aspect, which is the cake. So my experience here has been wonderful. I don't deny it. The woman teaching us, she's good in what she does.
Like samosa, spring rolls, shawarma, food, cake, and the rest.
Under the N Health, beneficiaries volunteer to work in the Npower Health Initiative, supporting and enhancing preventative health care for families, children, and pregnant women in their local communities.
I want to say a big thank you for the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs for this opportunity, and we wish more of this opportunity are created for the youth in Nigeria entirely to benefit from it. You can see the number of people here are not all Npower. These are selected RI in charges and their assistants. So when we get to those facilities, it also gives us the opportunity to participate, to also have more knowledge. So actually the department have helped us a lot, and we want to say thank you to Kuje Area Council Health Department and to the HOD entirely.
Really thank the federal government for giving us this opportunity. We really thank them well.
The money has been helping me for investment because I'm a family man. I've been using the money for many things in my to see that I've scattered for my family.
Another interesting part of the Npower program is the N-Tech, where beneficiaries are trained on phone repairs. At the Jos Center of the N-Tech training, beneficiaries of the program were trained on phone repair, which is the main program, entrepreneurship, and life skills. They also share their testimonies.
We are taught a lot of things, how to be a good entrepreneur. We are taught on how our attitudes can affect our business.
Well, I must express my profound gratitude to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as to the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management for coming up with this profound program to enable young people like me to be empowered and have a skill that will sustain me and my family. So I must say that I'm really grateful and I'm really delighted to be part of this.
Building up the human capital base for skilled labor in Nigeria. That's what the Npower through the N-Build component is doing. And that wraps it up for us on this week's episode of Service to Humanity. Until I come your way again next week, don't forget to send in questions and suggestions to any of our social media platforms or the ministry's page on Facebook or Twitter. See you next week.